Welcome to Plymouth Church, first of all. There are many churches like Plymouth that are welcoming and accepting to gay couples, and we'd like to have important events surrounding the ACLU's LGBT work to be in a venue like Plymouth Church. I'm Chris Amity. I'm the Executive Director of the American Civil Liberties Union of Wisconsin. Today, the American Civil Liberties Union of Wisconsin is filing a suit in federal court on behalf of same-sex couples married in Wisconsin during the week after June 6th. This filing follows last week's decision by the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals that upheld a previous ruling by the district court that found Wisconsin's discriminatory ban on marriage for same-sex couples to be unconstitutional. In the next few minutes, we're going to have some more explanation of what we're doing today, and then we're going to hear from three of the couples that are plaintiffs in this ACLU lawsuit, and then we'll take questions. So to begin with a further explanation of what we're hoping to accomplish, let me introduce the legal director of the ACLU, Larry Dupuy. Thanks.
So I'm Larry Dupuy. I'm the legal director of the ACLU of Wisconsin. And moments ago, we filed a complaint in the Western District of Wisconsin challenging the state's refusal to recognize the marriages of the folks who got married, including the three couples up here today who got married in the week following Judge Crabb's decision. Obviously, Judge Crabb's decision could not have determined the validity of these marriages because these couples were not before her and the issue of the marriages was not part of that case. So we are filing this case in part to protect these couples in their own individual claims, and claims that we believe are independent of those that are in the Wolf v. Walker case, and that stand on their own merits, because the state of Wisconsin and duly elected officials in the state of Wisconsin acting on solid legal grounds issued marriage licenses to these folks that they have relied upon and have a right and have vested rights in those marriages and the benefits and duties that go along with those marriages. We're seeking to ensure that they have all of the protections for their families that other married couples in Wisconsin have, and so that's the basis for this lawsuit. We hope to move it quickly so that they're no longer left in the legal limbo that they are now, not knowing whether their marriages will be recognized by the state of Wisconsin. So I'm going to start by introducing Kirsten and Angie Bloechl-Karlsen, who are both living in the Oshkosh area. And they're both lifelong Wisconsinites, and Angela was born and raised in Manawa, near Oshkosh. And Kirsten grew up in Burlington, Wisconsin. And as you can hear, they have they've started to build a family together. Little Macon here, Mikan, sorry. Oh, hi, Mikan. Mikan is their daughter, and they are planning to possibly add to this family, and they are, of course, looking forward to the protections for their parental rights that go along with marriage that right now are in limbo. So I'm going to let them talk a little bit about their experience and what they're hoping for here.
Kirsten and I will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary in early November, and we're thrilled to be doing so as a married couple. We met while studying at the University of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, in the psychology department. We knew that we wanted to be together forever, probably after a lot of late nights studying at Perkins and after many, many pots of coffee. somewhere along the way, we discussed all of our core values and realized that they were really similar, especially those regarding family and our faith. In addition, we found that we've got a lot of very similar hobbies, things like travel and food, of course, and more travel. We grew up with a lot of little girls did, thinking that someday we'd get married. Civil unions feel like second class. We don't want to have our daughter explain to her classmates that her parents are civilly unioned. Kids don't understand that. Marriage isn't just a word, it's a status. Marriage upholds the values that we hold very dear, such as commitment, stability, responsibility, and most importantly, family. We want for the vows that we shared with each other on the day that we were married to be honored by our state as well as our country.
We were granted a marriage license on June 13th, and we'd like for that license to afford us the same protections of any heterosexual couple. In our case, I've been a mother to our little girl since day one, but was unable to sign her birth certificate on the day she was born in the hospital, and that was very difficult. Having our marriage recognized in this state would allow us to pursue step-parent adoption. We want for our marriage to be recognized so that our right as a family to remain legally connected to each other no matter what happens is not compromised. We would have loved to have planned a wedding, have our family, extended family, friends, and officials of our faith attend and celebrate our day with us, but we couldn't wait. We have a daughter, and it's our responsibility, certainly, to provide her with a safe and loving family.
Thank you. I thought for sure she said she needed her shoes. She has shoes on, but
She'd rather be wearing.
Oh, but then the juice seemed to satisfy. It wasn't the juice. Actually, that looks like water. So now I'd like to introduce Nathan Walker and Lee Laufer. Nathan and Lee met in the early 1990s and were friends for many years before they started dating. Nathan is from Chicago and was stationed with the Marines in Milwaukee when the two met, and Lee is from West Bend, Wisconsin. And they've been together for 19 years and now live in Bayside, Wisconsin. So Lee and Nathan.
Yeah, pretty much our story is not a big exciting story other than we met many years ago and decided that we wanted to be a couple and wanted to be together. We both knew we saw something special in each other. We got married because we wanted to show our family and friends that we were committed to one another, and a civil union or a domestic partnership was not something that we thought conveyed the feeling of a marriage would have. So, and also friends had mentioned we could have went to Chicago perhaps and gotten married down there, since that's where I'm from, but we live here in Wisconsin, and we wanted to get married in Wisconsin in our homes, in what we consider our home now. And we just like that, for that marriage, we did get married and it is legal, and we would just like it to be recognized as such.
That's it, the whole story basically. We have concerns going forward, not being recognized as we get older. Nathan being a veteran, the rights that I might be entitled to if that's recognized by the state. And so we're just simply asking for that acknowledgement.
Thanks. No request for shoes or juice.
Or shoes.
Very good. And I'd also like to introduce Stacy Christian and Julie Tetzloff, who are also lifelong Wisconsinites. Sorry, are you a Bears fan by any chance? You don't have to answer. On that spot. I should know this about him already, but certain questions you don't want to ask. Julie and Stacy are Packers fans, obviously, having been born and raised in Wisconsin. All right. Okay. And living in Green Bay, it's sort of impossible to not be a Packer fan, I suppose. Stacy grew up in Eagle River. Julie's actually a Green Bay native. Julie's a Gulf War veteran who was a first lieutenant in the Army. There might be some Army-Marine tension here, but I'm not going to say anything about that either. She served in the reserves and received 2 commendation medals for her service. Julie is now Director of Adult Programs at the Cerebral Palsy Center in Green Bay, and Stacy is a lecturer at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay in Human Development and Psychology.
Good morning. We're very happy to be here today to talk about our story. Julie and I met 21 years ago. We knew at that time that we wanted to be together. We have a lot in common. We have a lot of family values, community values, and we decided at that point that we would be together for forever. So at 21 years ago, we decided that. And then we decided to renew our vows at our home on the lake after we had a domestic partnerships and worked with that too. We went through that process. And we renewed our vows in front of our children, our grandchildren, all our families and friends, and it was on the lake at our house, and that was 4 years ago. And we've been watching closely to see the state of Wisconsin would actually allow us to be legally married, which has been a long-term goal of ours. And then on June 9th, we went to the courthouse. We were second in line, ended up being third in line, and we ended up getting married that day, and we consider ourselves legally married.
Marriage is really important to us because it affirms our commitment that we have to one another, and we really want the state to recognize legally that we are a couple. Along with our commitment comes benefits, and being a Gulf War veteran, some of those veteran benefits would be important for me to be able to share with Stacy. Home ownership, property ownership, real estate, healthcare benefits, and other benefits that are available through our employer if you're a married couple that are not allowed if you're not. So even we both, along with the couple behind us, are also avid fisher women, and would love to be able to take advantage of the marriage fishing license benefit offered in the great state of Wisconsin for the great fish and wildlife that we have here. So.
When we got married at the courthouse on June 9th, it was not your typical wedding, and it certainly is not something you dream for as you get older and you decide you want to be married. We went to the courthouse. We were third in line. Actually, we were second in line. The first person in line of the couple, one of the women was in labor, and we were concerned about her because she was in labor and she wanted to get married before she delivered. And there was a lot of attention for her. Another couple was there, and they didn't want to be on the media because they didn't want to be let out at work. They were afraid that they had to actually skip work to get there, to get married, and they were concerned about being outed at work, so we let them go ahead so they could get going to work. And then we were there too, and the interesting thing is too, we were there at 8 o'clock, and they told us that there probably wouldn't be any marriages that day, that we could go home. They'd call us later. I said, no, we're going to stay. And it was about 2 hours later, they said, okay, we're going to move forward. And it was very much of a race. We were told that it might not be in place even 2 hours later. So we had to rush around and stand in line. We had the media on us directly, cameras in our faces the whole while. We had to fill out paperwork with a clerk, and he kept saying, I don't want my dad to see me on TV because he'd be mad that I'm filling out this paperwork, so we had to consult him a bit about that. And then we had to find someone that could marry us because we couldn't get a hold of our clergy. We had to run across the street, get married, stand in line to get married. We had to run back, run upstairs, fill out paperwork. And then other people didn't have money because they didn't realize they could get married that day, so we throwing cash at people so that they could get their paperwork to get married. And then we rushed downstairs, and that was it. So
But then we were witnesses for another couple.
That's right, we were witnesses for another couple.
That saw our picture on Facebook, and they raced over to the courthouse, and they knew we'd be there, so
Right.
then they were able to find a clergy member, and we were their witnesses. So
yeah, we called our witnesses our family out of work, and they left work and came. So that's our story. So we're pleased that we're here to talk about that, and we are definitely ready to be acknowledged as
Right, we're part of this lawsuit because we believe, because we are legally married and we want the state to recognize that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all, great couples, the plaintiffs in this case. The state of Wisconsin has placed hundreds of same-sex couples, including our clients, in an untenable position of not knowing if their marriages will be respected and recognized or simply ignored in terms of the state of Wisconsin. Even if the stay on Judge Crabb's decision means that for a while no more same-sex couples can marry in Wisconsin, the U.S. Constitution does not allow the state to undo or ignore the marriages that are already in place. And it's U.S. and the state Constitution?
This case is filed under the U.S. Constitution.
Okay, under the U.S. Constitution. So now we'd be happy to take questions, Larry and I, and the couples. All righty, thanks a lot.